What's going on, guys? It's Jev, and happy Valentine's Day. Normally on Valentine's Day, I will make a video talking about something that has been going on my channel for, I think, the past 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years ago today, my friend Jordan Allen was killed in a car accident. Now, I know that sounds a little heavy, and if you're new to the channel and stuff, I do this kind of video every single year on Valentine's Day. I just talk about this kind of thing. This is a day that is basically dedicated to loving, you know, your significant other or just the people around you in general. Just having, you know, a day that's just filled with love and positivity, just everything. It should be just a feel-good day. And honestly, that's exactly what the day, you know, 4 years ago felt like. Felt like another Valentine's Day just, you know, filled with positivity. It's a day where you're supposed to be spending time with your loved ones, and I had a friend of mine just be killed. So I'm going to tell you guys the story of Jordan Allen the same way that I've basically told it every other time. Just everything that I can remember. I'm hoping that I don't leave, you know, anything important out. But 4 years ago today, my friend Jordan Allen, who is a senior in high school, this is going to be his graduating year. Soon he's going to be going out to see the world, you know, and just see everything that it has to offer him. Jordan was the type of guy that, like, everybody around him, like, whether you were his friends or not, and Jordan was the type of guy that he was like a big clown, you know, like a lot of the teachers were, even though he's a class clown and he was like pretty disruptive, he wasn't extremely so disrespectful in a way that was just like obnoxious, you know what I mean? He was like that class clown that just you had to love, you know what I mean? He messed around a lot. He didn't always do his work, but the teachers would always be able to joke around with him. It's just because he was actually so kind-spirited. He didn't actually want to hurt anybody, although he would obviously make jokes. It's just how it is. It's high school. I had multiple classes with him. I'm not going to sit here and claim that I was, you know, his closest friend in the world. He had many, many, many friends. I shared multiple classes with him, and one in particular was auto mechanics. I went to a vocational school, and we shared an auto mechanics class, so we basically like worked together on cars and just all of this other stuff with all of the other students that were doing the same thing as us. Jordan tended to be a little reckless, you know. He would break the rules. Like sometimes he would leave school early, or he would come into school late. He was just always around like doing something, just doing whatever he wanted. He was getting in trouble, obviously, but he was not a bad person. So on Valentine's Day, we had an activity period, I believe. An activity period would happen towards the end of the day with like, I think like 2 or 3 hours left of school. And everybody that had signed up for the auto club would come down to the classroom, and everybody would just like be all together, and they would like learn stuff. But the thing is, in the school, like a lot of the kids would just sign up for the auto class, not care about cars whatsoever, and just come in there to talk to all their friends. It's just, you know, it's just like a big club in the auto. People would just come in there to talk and just all sorts of stuff like that, not to really learn. Some people would be learning, but most weren't. With many, many, many students being in this classroom, it was like a half classroom, half garage. It was a pretty big place, but when you got everybody inside of it, it's pretty packed, pretty crowded, and it's very difficult to keep track of everybody, especially as a single teacher, or even 2 teachers, or even 3 teachers, to just keep track of every single person that's in that class. And this classroom, being a garage that you would have to drive cars in and out, was basically just a way to go straight out into the road and just like leave the school. Well, that's exactly what Jordan did. He ended up leaving with another student. They just decided like, all right, well, I mean, there's an activity period. We could probably just sneak out and go home early. Nobody would notice, and nobody would ever even catch us. So both of them left the school grounds early. He was the passenger in this car, and basically just on the way home, I guess, wherever he was driving him to, or if they were like stopping at a store or something on the way back, because that's what a lot of the students did. On the way to and from school, they would just be stopping at stores randomly. Wherever it was that they were going, somewhere along the way, there was a road that's a pretty thin road. I'm not sure exactly if they were just speeding or it was another vehicle that was coming down the road going the opposite way. And basically what happened was they ended up going past this vehicle, basically just trying to avoid it. The car that Jordan was in, the driver ended up losing control, and they ended up going off of the road into a field where there was a big wooden fence. I don't know exactly how fast they were going, but all I know is that they hit this fence, just like completely destroyed it. They crashed into this fence, and when they crashed into this fence, one of the wooden beams went straight through the windshield and hit Jordan right in the head. And from what I know, it had actually, it's kind of complicated how to say it. I don't want to say that it instantly killed him, but obviously the cops were immediately called, I believe, by the driver himself, because he was okay. He had a couple injuries, but he was nowhere near, you know, in Jordan's shape. And this is where things get a little clouded. Us as students don't have all of the detail. We were just getting updated as the day went. I remember getting home and seeing on Facebook that something had happened to Jordan, and I saw everybody talking about it, and I just didn't know what happened, and I was just waiting, I guess, for the next day to come in to figure out, like, and really talk to people and figure out what's going on. So after the whole night of just sitting there seeing everybody talk about it and people not knowing what's going on and people trying to reach out to the family and families over at the hospital not answering anybody and just trying to see their son, you know? I came back to school and the school was just, it was so strange. Like, I've never felt a school like that before. When I walked in there, the people that were normally loud and talking and dancing around and having a good time were very quiet, everybody was sitting around talking about it. I ended up joining one of the conversations with, I guess, people that had more insight than I did. They said that he was in some sort of coma, but there was no, like, brain activity. There was nothing there. He was still alive. He was still on the machine was keeping him alive, but as far as brain activity, as far as him as a human being, he was just not there. The school was so devastated by it, and the teachers completely understood the student. A lot of us, especially all the people that were in that class, the graduating class of 2012, all of us were basically exempt from all of our classes because people just could not even, like, concentrate. Like, people were crying, people were just... It was bad, man. Like, I was sitting around, like, hearing other people cry. It was literally, like, one of the worst feelings I've ever felt in my life, to just be surrounded by people in so much pain. Just, you know, like, dealing with this sudden thing. The most haunting thing about this whole thing is that Jordan, that day, before he left, showed me a Valentine's card that he made for his girlfriend. And Jordan was the type of guy that, he's a good-looking guy. He's not shy, either. He could easily get any girl that he wanted. Every time he's had a girlfriend and stuff, he always talked about, like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. But this girl in particular, that he was with, he really started, like, he opened up to me and talked about, this girl is actually really cool. This is, like, one of the first times that I've actually, like, made a present for a girl like this. And he gave me the card and I was able to read it, and he talked about how, like, he genuinely cared about her and he hopes that, like, everything is going to work out with them. Just everything about how great she makes him feel. And then just later that day, you know, he's gone. Honestly, like, one of the most haunting things. And to have to actually go and move on with your life and see the seat that a living, breathing human being that was always there for years, you were used to them being there, they're just gone and they never come back. Like, this isn't just like somebody moved out, or it's honestly the most eerie thing in the world, because, like, nobody even wants to sit in his seat. Nobody even wants to, like, even be in the area where he used to be. It's just, it gives you this feeling that it's just completely unsettling. Also, 2 or 3 days after the initial accident had happened, he was still in the hospital, no brain activity, nothing, where eventually his parents had decided that these doctors, after they had told them all the information, and they were just basically saying, like, you could keep him, you know, on the machine and everything, but there's no guarantee that he's, you know, he's gonna wake up. It's hit or miss. They don't really know. And I mean, I guess it was just the parents' choice to, you know, let him go. During those few days, our school had made a whole bunch of things like Stay Strong Jordan. There were people that made songs for him. Today, I'm probably going to go to the candle lighting where the accident actually was. Still to this day, we still have students that are going to this area remembering. I don't know. It's just, it's crazy how a single person literally could have that big of an impact. That many people around him, even without being, like, the closest friends in the world. Just, like, it just says something about him as a person and, like, his energy. I just really think that goes to show what type of person and what kind of impact he actually had on people. Previously, when I had told this story, you know, I would cry a little bit, tear up and stuff, and, like, I mean, I'm getting a little emotional, you know, like a little choked up and stuff, but there's a lot of times where, you know, I lay at night and I stare over to the picture of him. I have the only picture that is around on my walls in my entire room is just a picture of him. It's a real reminder, not just some saying that you see on Twitter or Facebook or something like that that says, love the people around you, don't know how long they'll be around. This is the greatest saying that I could ever have. Just having this reminder of him on the wall reminds me each and every single day that I shouldn't be taking them for granted. Because on the most random days, you know, it's just, things happen. So yeah, I mean, I know that wasn't the best, like, storytelling in the world, but at the moment, I mean, it's 4:30 in the morning. I just couldn't get this thing out of my mind. I just wanted to talk about it immediately and just try to go to sleep and you know, be awake enough to be able to make it to the ceremony and everything. And obviously, I'm not making this video to try to ruin your Valentine's Day. I'm just saying this should serve as more of a meaning and more of a reason to cherish the people around you. If you're currently with your loved one right now, your significant other, anybody like that, anybody that you care about in your life, please, please do not take them for granted, because things can just happen. Rest in peace, Jordan Allen. I hope you guys have a great, great, great Valentine's Day. Cherish your loved ones, and yeah, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Later.